Hey everybody, welcome to another Starfield guide. This one's going to be on how do you commandeer enemy ships when you're flying around in space. It's easy to take someone else's ship when you're on the ground if you find one landed somewhere, but how do you do it when you're flying around in space? This is Ash for the SSS League, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. As a matter of fact, this is a ship here that I took from the Spacers after a space battle. Now, it's not too complicated, although it does take some practice, and before you even attempt it, you have to go into your skills. And under tech, you have to put at least 1 point into targeting systems. This will allow you to target individual systems of an enemy ship, which is necessary because in order to board a ship, you first have to take out its engines. When you're in combat, there are two things you have to do to disable an enemy ship. First, you have to eliminate their shields. Laser weapons are best for that. The second thing is you have to achieve a target lock. To achieve a target lock, you first have to select a ship as your target. The default if you're using keyboard and mouse is E. The default if you're using controller is A, and then you have to keep them in the center of your field of view until an indicator around them says lock. Now, if you have put at least one skill point into targeting systems, a prompt will appear that allows you to target specific systems of your targeted ship. Using your left and right movement buttons allows you to switch between the different systems you want to target. Watch the damage indicator for the system you're targeting here. Once all the bars are empty, it means that system has been disabled. You can see I've knocked out this ship's engine and it's now floating dead in space. Now they will repair their systems eventually, so you want to move fast before they do that. If you're using lasers, ballistic weapons, or missiles to attack the enemy's engines, you've got to be careful, because in addition to damaging that system, you're doing damage to the overall hull health of the enemy ship. And if their hull gets down to 0, you'll have destroyed the ship, and that eliminates your chance to board the ship. You want to make sure not to do too much damage to the ship's hull before you start targeting the systems. Now, if you have an EM weapon, it's a different story. EM weapons are a little more advanced. They're designed for knocking out ship systems without damaging the ship itself, which is good if you're planning to take the ship for yourself, and also you don't run the risk of accidentally destroying the ship while you're just trying to knock out the engines. Now, as soon as the enemy ship's engines have been disabled, it's going to give you the option to dock with the enemy ship as long as you are no longer in combat. In other words, there aren't any other ships out there attacking you. If there are, it's not going to let you dock. But if it's the last ship standing, you can dock with it. It'll give you an option to immediately board it or just get up from your seat, so you could do that if you have some prep you want to do. Once you're on board the enemy ship, you just deal with any hostiles that are on board, and then you can take the ship for yourself. Or you could just take what you want and leave it adrift. But if you do want to take the ship for yourself, either to sell it or modify it or fly it around, a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, do yourself a favor and check the ship for contraband before you jump it to a system that is going to scan you for contraband. The "that's not mine and I didn't know it was there" excuse is not going to work, even if it's true. Secondly, as soon as you jump the ship out of the system, and I believe this also happens if you land the ship, it automatically becomes your home ship. When a ship becomes your home ship, everything and everybody that was on your previous home ship gets moved over to the new ship. That includes everything in the cargo hold and all the random junk that was sitting around your ship. So if you do this a bunch, you might find your cargo hold filling up with miscellaneous junk, which you can sell, of course. But if you're wondering why you have 1,000 markers and pots and pans and things sitting in your cargo hold, that might be why. And by the way, all of this happens regardless of how big the new cargo hold is. Everything will get dumped in there. If it's over capacity, you won't be able to add anything else in there, but you're not going to lose anything in this process. Any business with your ship is done by going to a port and talking to a ship services technician. This is where you can modify, sell, buy ships, you can switch which ship is your home ship, all that kind of stuff. If you've commandeered a ship that belonged to somebody else, you cannot sell it or modify it until you've registered it. Now, the registration fee can be pretty hefty. In my experience, it's always less than what you'd be able to sell the ship for. You will come out ahead, but it might only be a couple thousand credits, so you'll have to decide if it's really worth the hassle. You might just want to loot the ship and leave it where it is, or destroy it. In any case, that is how you disable and commandeer ships. What you do with that information is up to you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to slam that like button, subscribe for tons more Starfield content, and I will talk to you again very soon. Before you go, why not check out some of the other entertaining and enriching gaming content we have here at the SSS League, like Maximum News, our weekly gaming news podcast hosted by Max Darrett. You'll also find comedy, reviews, and lore videos, and the description has links to our other channels, like Scenometry, where I humorously overthink TV and movies.